Services.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah, man. That's it. We did it. Today's Thursday, December 28th. 362 days into the new year. Just 3 days left. That's right. It's our last show for 2017, and it's a Fadernight. Show number 780 tonight. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California, and I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world. All across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? We made it. We made it. That's it. We can say sayonara to 2017. Tonight, it's our last show of the year, and it's a Fader night. So we get everything. We've got the No More Fake News Room with Jon Rappoport. He's going to be here in a few short minutes. Followed by Open Lines all night long with our special guest tonight, astrologer Jeff Harman is here. Now, the call-in numbers, we're going to go with one set tonight, 323-825-5045. So that'll be the call-in numbers when we bring in Jeff. And this is what we're going to do. So, we're going to do predictions for 2018. I want to know what Jeff has got in store for us there. So, we're going to do that. And then we're going to open up the phone lines. And this is all I need from you. I need your name and a quick question. That's it. And then Jeff does his work. Okay, so we're going to have fun tonight. Let's just enjoy this evening. And it's crazy because this is New Year's Eve weekend. After tonight, Rita and I obviously are going to throw our New Year's Eve shindig, and she has said that she is going to Periscope, so there you go there. So we have to prep for that. Tomorrow night I have Coast to Coast, and in between all of that, we have to cook and get ready for our New Year's Eve party, and you're going to do the same thing. So have a great, safe, fun New Year's weekend, and you'll be spending it with us tomorrow night over on Coast, and then we're going to Periscope on Sunday evening, and you'll be able to see all of the guests, all of the Fadernauts that are coming over to the house. Well, there's a couple. I think our friends and so forth that are invited over, they are Fadernauts by default. Yeah. But you'll be able to see them with them funny New Year's Eve hats, exploding stuff. We're going to be exploding things. So there you go. All right, I'm very excited. For us here, with our family, New Year's is our big night of the year. That for us. I mean, Christmas is cool. Love Thanksgiving. Love the 4th of July. Love Memorial Day. all of those Labor Day, all of those things that we do all year long, and as a country and as a world, right? But New Year's is a time for new beginnings, and I got to tell you, I'm not I'm not sad to say goodbye to 2017, man. That was just a traumatic year for all of us, wasn't it? So this is it. This is our last show of the year. Again, Jon Rappoport's going to be here with us, No More Fake Newsroom, and then Jeff Harman will be here for the rest of the night, taking your calls and doing some astrology with us. Okay, follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. So tonight, because it's our last show of the year, we're broadcasting, doing a simulcast on YouTube, as well as everything else out there, all of our syndication. So, but hello to everybody out there in the Bunker Cam and on YouTube. Enjoy the show tonight. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. And the sandbox is hashtag F2B. You can come and hang out. The gifts are flying. And Navy UFO explained. The Pentagon and Navy made a joint announcement today about the UFO seen by Navy, and they announced it was nothing more than an escaped weather balloon that was inflated with super high energy and swamp gas. That is the best tweet of, man, that right there. Some things will get a retweet, and this one does. This deserves a retweet. That was good. That was good. I'll just do it really quick. We're live on the air. Okay, that's funny. That is funny. All right, Sandbox, hashtag F2B. That's what you want to do. Join in the conversations over there. And don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe with YouTube and Facebook and all of that stuff over on the website. Any questions or comments during the show, use hashtag F2BQ for questions. F2BQ. Okay? All right. You can email throughout the show, Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. Now, at this point of the show every night, I do a little breaking news thing, and I want all of us to get our collective consciousness together. John Anthony West could use all of our good vibes, thoughts, and prayers now. Okay? Yes. And that is not the news that I want to share. It's the news that I need to share. And now, look, it's a bummer that I have to say those words, okay? But he is a pillar of our community. He is a stand-up gentleman. He has brought so much to the world, and right now he needs us, okay? So it's that simple. Jaws needs our vibes tonight, okay? All right. Our next event is going to be the Conscious Life Expo. It's coming up February 9th through the 12th, 2018 at the LAX Hilton. Tickets and info over at jimmychurchradio.com. There's a banner there for the Conscious Life Expo. Click on it and go and get your tickets. All of the panels and people that you need to hear and see, everything is listed right there. So go and check it out, the Conscious Life Expo, February 9th through the 12th, 2018. Also, tonight we were going to announce the winners for the next podcast star. I'm going to say this. We have 5 finalists, okay? And this is what we have decided to do. We cannot agree. So on Tuesday, we are going to announce 2 winners, not 1. We're going to announce 2. It's that good of a contest. The submissions were that great, and we are perplexed. So we need to fight and argue over the next 3 or 4 days and try to figure this out. But we have decided to not have 1, but we are going to announce 2 winners, and that will be on Tuesday's show. Okay? So 2 grand prizes, the whole thing. 2 identical grand prizes are going to be given away, and we'll make the announcement on Tuesday's show. And what a great way to start the new year, right? And we just have to do this the correct way. We cannot figure it out. So that'll be on Tuesday's show. All right. Yeah. I was going to say, they don't have to split the grand prize. We're going to give away 2 complete podcast studios, microphones, headphones, the Tascam podcast studio. So everything, we're going to give away 2 complete packages, 2 grand prizes, and we'll announce that on Tuesday. All right? So for those of you out there that were wondering if you were in the running, well, your odds just doubled. Okay. It's the only way we could do it to figure it out. All right. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. We have over 775 archive shows. It's just $2 a month. Head over to the website, click on the podcast banner, and all platforms, Apple, Android, everything is there. Just $2 a month. Also, you can become a Fadernight in our membership section on the site, and you can do whatever you want. We have 4 levels for you to become a member, from free to full-on game changer. Everything that you need or want is right there. So just go to the membership section and, help support the show. And don't forget about all of our sponsors here. Life Change Tea, GetTheTea.com, River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend, Ancient Life Oil, CBD, the best CBD on the planet, Sacred Skulls, Numana Food Storage Systems, and Bearing Optics. All of the promo codes that you need for discounts and free shipping and gear and all of that stuff is right there on the banners. And go and visit all of our sponsors here. It's how we keep the show going. Let's get this show cracking. Happy birthday to today, Stan Lee. Stan Lee is 94 years old. Unbelievable. Stan Lee, happy birthday. 94. Man. All right. OTD, on this day in history, an earthquake in 1908 in Sicily kills over 100,000 people and destroys several towns on this day in 1908. Fader fact. Now, here's a Fader fact for you, and I'm not so sure that you know this, okay? So listen to me. This is a fact. Thomas Edison invented the tattoo pen. Yeah. Thomas Edison invented the tattoo pen. Crazy, huh? Think about that. What didn't he invent? He invented the tattoo pen. Unbelievable. Tonight's our last show of the year, everybody. And it falls on a Fadernight, which makes it all the more special. We have Jon Rappoport here with his No More Fake Newsroom live. And we're going to follow that with open lines at the top of the hour. And we're going to have our special guest astrologer here, Jeff Harman, making predictions for 2018 and taking your phone calls and looking at your future. All we need for Jeff is your name, okay, and a quick question. And we'll bang through this. Let's celebrate this together. Let's have a good time tonight. And now, at this point, this is where I want to go right now. Last night we were talking about, the big stories of 2017, right? Politics, big all year long, never stop, never let up. North Korea, right? North Korea is one of their leading scientists, nuclear physicists, committed suicide, by the way. Not too sure exactly when it happened. He was brought back from China, escaped, got detained in China, was brought back to North Korea November 17th. Apparently he was put in solitary confinement. I think it was today, and somehow had poison and was able to commit suicide today. So there's North Korea, right? News all year long. Russia. And not only Russia with collusion and the election and everything else, there's that part, but There's Russia and Syria. There's Putin. There's other things that have been going on with Russia and hacking. And I'll tell you something else about Russia. China and Russia want to eliminate the petrodollar and take the world economy in a whole other direction. The United States has been making so much money off of every single ounce of oil sucked out of the ground on this planet since 1972. And that money has propelled us into the economy that we have today. And China and Russia being the big consumers and sellers that they are of oil, that could radically change things. This is where some really good politicking needs to come into play, because if that continues, I'm just telling you, that's a game changer. But then we had, sex. Sex was a big thing in 2017, and it's going to continue. The news of what has been going on with the allegations which have always been there in Hollywood and the record industry and the music industry and the radio industry. These things have always going on. The jokes about the casting couch go back for years. And I don't see things letting up. But it also trickled into politics. The sex allegations are everywhere now. And I don't see that stopping. But also in 2017, and I talked about this yesterday, was the racism in America. And I have, I know that it's there, right? And we've been trying to work on it, and we've been trying to get better with it, and we've been trying, right? We've been trying these things. And it's like, yes. The answer is yes, Rita. Here. Let me send you this. And here in L.A., I remember talking about this at the beginning of 2017. Los Angeles, New York, Miami, San Francisco, the big metropolitan areas, certainly Chicago and all of these big cities that we have across this country. Don't have the time to name them all now. But here in Los Angeles, it's a unique situation in that you have to get along here in Los Angeles. You have to get along. There is too much of everything here. We have a huge Mexican population and a black population, white, Asian populations here. It's just a mix of everything, right? You can't be racist in Los Angeles. You can't. And if you want to be some kind of crazy white supremacist out there, come to Los Angeles. You'll have your attitude straightened out really quick, man. You can't do it here. So, and I've been out here since the early 80s, 84, mid 80s. And I love it. I just love being here, where color is not an issue, race is not an issue. You can't make race an issue here. You just can't do it. And to have these deep-seated feelings surface across the country in 2017, and I get it, they're still there. And all you need is a little flame, a little flicker, a little spark, and these things surface. And we don't need that. We don't need those sparks. We don't need that to we need to work on ourselves, and that's what's going on across this country. So I'm amazed what went down in 2017. And then to throw on top of all of that, these issues with ISIS, of course, and the weather. The weather was huge news. I don't ever want to go through weather like we did in 2017 to cap off the hurricanes and the flooding and the extreme heat and the extreme cold. We topped all of that off with these crazy wildfires that went all across the western United States. Certainly here in Los Angeles, all the way down to San Diego, and that made news, but it was all over the western United States. And it was something I don't want to go through again. We haven't had, Lisa Garr said this last night, and this, I would say that this is basically true. We really haven't had rain, like real rain, since February. I mean, think about that. You know, we need, she said it last night, we need some cloud seeding, man. We need some geoengineering going on here. We need some rain. You know, we are here. It's winter. Normally it's raining right now, and there's no rain. So I don't want to go through that again. I don't want to do any of what we went through in 2017. I don't want to go through this in 2018. The one thing, the one bright spot, there are two for me, two bright spots. Well, there's many, but there's two bright spots. One is disclosure that happened on December 16th. Okay, so where is this going to lead into 2018? It's going to be exciting all year long. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be great. I don't know what Tom DeLonge has got up his sleeve, but it's going to continue. And not only with Tom DeLonge and To the Stars Academy, but it's all the other researchers out there. It's all the other stuff. And maybe we'll have some more whistleblowers surface. Maybe we'll have somebody break ranks in the CIA or from the Pentagon and take off with some files and some video. Maybe there's going to be some kind of hack going on. Maybe Anonymous is going to make a play on the NASA servers. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a WikiLeaks dump. I don't know. But we have that looking forward into 2018. And we have the Nazca mummies. And the Nazca mummies, let's take a look back now. When that story broke, there were tens of millions of views, like a day for a while. Those videos got 50, 60, 70 million views in 3 days. And shocked everybody. Now, in January, I expect an announcement to come out of Gaia. And Jay Widener was on this show and last week, and he said it was about 2 weeks away. Now, he told me about a month ago it was about 2 weeks away. But they're waiting for the DNA results to come in. The preliminary results are showing, and this is now on the heels of To the Stars Academy and everything that went down on December 16th, is this Nazca news. And to have these two stories dovetail into each other, they will mean a lot. If the DNA results continue like they are showing right now, it's this, that the mummies are not human, that they are 98% human. But all DNA on this planet, you have to remember a few things here. Chimpanzees are 98% human, but they're not human. Okay? A mouse has 50% human DNA. A rat has 50% human DNA, but they're not human. And so if these Nazca mummies continue with the 98%, when you look at the chromosomes and the pairs and what is left over in that last 2% or 1%, we're talking about 10, 20, 30, 40 million pairs of genetic information. That is going to be an extraordinary announcement. And to have that combined with what happened on December 16th, I'm telling you, 2018 is going to be something extraordinary to look forward to. The news that we have had all year in the UFO community on all fronts, that's Corey Good and David Wilcock and Linda Moulton Howe and everybody that has brought information forward, again, too many names to list here, is going to cement it all together. And we're going to look at 2018 and go, man. And I think that aside from everything else, that we have to be bummed out about 2017 because it was a bummer. Fake news, social media, oh man, identity theft and everything that we dealt with emotionally in 2017. Those two stories, the Nazca mummies and To the Stars Academy and Tom DeLonge, are going to blow everything out of the water, and everything else is going to fall into place. And that's what we can look forward to. The Nazca Mummy announcement should be shortly. We are going into the New Year's weekend. Tomorrow is Friday. And look at Philip Chuck from Hong Kong. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Chuck. Good to see you, man, in Twitter. And that's what we have. You know, the conversations that we're going to have over New Year's Eve and the celebrations, and we're going to sit around and talk about all of this exciting stuff. That's the best part for me. Okay, so tonight's our last show. I don't know how we got here. Every night, and I mentioned this in my little pre-show warm-up, every night on the show, every night I start off with what day of the year it is and how many days are left. And on Tuesday, I'm going to start off with, we're 2 days into the new year, and we have 362 days left, and we're going to start it all over again. But tonight, 362 days into the new year, we have 3 days left, and that's what we're going to celebrate tonight. Jeff Harman's going to be here, and I want everybody to take note. We're going to take a lot of phone calls tonight. Yes, congratulations. You can get all of that out of the way. But remember that there are going to be a lot of calls on hold. I want to get everybody through. Everybody's going to want to say hello. Everybody's going to want to say hi to Jeff. So what we need from you is your name and a question. Not a statement, not a story. Don't do that, because there are people behind you that are trying to get through on the phones. Okay? And Jeff will do his thing as quick as possible, and let's just go ahead and get through this. Okay, so that's it. Happy New Year, everybody. Just have a great, safe, fun weekend. I'll see everybody tomorrow night on Coast. My guest tomorrow night is Richard Dolan, followed by Open Lines, and that's it. We can officially start to say goodbye to 2017. With that, I'm going to get out of here. I'll be right back with, I almost did the wrong thing. Now I did the right thing. We're good. I'll be right back with Jon Rappoport and his No More Fake Newsroom live. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio, and I'll be right back with Jon Rappoport.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Tepe.
Natural Health Solutions with Chris and Ronnie.
Hey, Ronnie, how you doing?
Great, Chris.
Now, you're the CEO of GetTheTea.com, right?
Yes, I am.
What is GetTheTea.com? I mean, is this tea you buy in a store?
Well, No, it's not. Life Change Tea is just that, life-changing. Life Change Tea is an herbal tea that gently cleanses your body from intruders.
What do you mean by intruders?
Well, intruders are toxins, chemicals, GMOs, heavy metals, and more. They're in our food, in our water, in our air we breathe.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
And Life Change Tea will help you with removing these, as you say, intruders?
That's right, Chris.
Are there side effects with this tea?
Well, you might lose a little weight. When you clean your colon, you lose weight, you feel better, and you have more energy.
Wow. Ronnie, where can people purchase Life Change Tea?
Oh, that's easy. GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com.
Ronnie, I want to thank you for being on the show. People, don't forget, GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Win big with KGRA this summer. Tickets and hotel accommodations to the biggest conferences, autographed books and DVDs, chances to win all-inclusive conference cruises, and private dinners with your favorite KGRA hosts. Click the contest tab at kgraradio.com for your chance to win big this summer. Your contact for the best alternative talk radio on the planet. kgraradio.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
And now, coming to you from the No More Fake Newsroom in deep space, which is the space that we suspect to be true, that the world as it is fed to us every day by the Ministry of Truth is a lie, a false reality, a movie projected on the screen of our subconscious. This, however, is the breakout. All the screens crash, they all go down, and we see the light of day. A new day. No more robots, no more androids. It's the No More Fake Newsroom with Jon Rappoport. Take it away, John.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you. Happy New Year, everybody. Wow. Okay. I want to look at this UFO disclosure story from a couple of different points of view tonight. It's still, of course, red hot in the news. And let's take it first from a media point of view, okay? Now, the story broke in the New York Times. That's a central fact. Nothing like that had ever happened before. The New York Times publishes a piece using Luis Elizondo, who led up the former and present Pentagon program. He's not doing it himself anymore, but the program still exists in some form to explore UFO activity, etc., inside the Pentagon. And he is saying, here's a video. Fighter pilot off San Diego in 2004. Unidentified craft making strange maneuvers within a tight section of space and then zooms off. We get one of the pilots talking about it. But initially, the story focuses on Elizondo, and it's a straight-ahead pipeline, presumably from the Pentagon, Elizondo, New York Times. The New York Times does not publish stories like this, folks. Believe me. But here they did. All throughout the history of the UFO movement, shall we call it, people have been trying to get major media to cover the story, to admit this, to get government agencies to admit this, that the phenomenon exists, etc., etc., etc. With no real luck whatsoever until now. The biggest, most famous, and powerful newspaper in the world suddenly says, you bet, here we go. And they run this story without trying to get the other side and get people to say, wait a minute, this is not really real, or don't jump the gun, or this could be something else. They're pushing the story straight ahead from the horse's mouth. This has never, ever happened before. So, let's look now, and I'll get back to the times in a minute, but let's look now at some developments today, because all of a sudden now, we have a spokesperson for the DIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency, trying to walk back this story. First of all, they're saying that this secret Pentagon program from 2007 to 2012, or they're implying that it was carried out inside the DIA. Well, that was not the initial report. The initial report was just the Pentagon. And yes, the DIA is part and parcel of Pentagon apparatus, but this is the first time we've really heard this assertion made. And then, using that, the DIA spokesperson said, we didn't release anything. We have released no information on this to the public or the press at all. Right? Strongly implying that Mr. Elizondo released it, and he released it, of course, after he had resigned from the Pentagon, so he was operating as a private citizen, and so this was a private citizen releasing this. Furthermore, there is the strong implication made that he acquired several UFO videos under false pretenses. This is also new. That he was getting his hands on these videos in order to be able to educate pilots on what they might encounter in space and so on and so forth. But then he turned around and went to the press with these videos, right? That was not in the original New York Times story or anything like it. Then on top of that, earlier today, as reported by the Express, UK Express, the Pentagon was actually challenging the DIA. In other words, higher-ups at the Pentagon said, hey, there's no problem here. There's no confusion. The information was released as if a shrug of the shoulders. Whereas the DIA is saying, no, private citizen, etc., etc. The DIA is essentially saying this is a leak. We did not authorize this. This is a leak. That, again, is not at all the way the New York Times has been presenting the story. Then later in the day, the UK Express published a sort of updated, revised version of that story, which leaves out the element of the Pentagon saying, hey, no confusion, no problem. That's already gone. It was there, it was gone. So you can see that an effort is being made here, at least within part of the Pentagon, the DIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency, to walk back this story and to lay it completely on the shoulders of Elizondo as a private citizen who sort of stole, you could say, the videos or appropriated them for a purpose which he perhaps never intended to use them for, and eventually he went to the press with them. Walk back, change the story, backtrack, etc., etc., etc. So, what will the New York Times do now? Because this and other criticisms of that New York Times piece are surfacing in the mainstream press. Now, the New York Times can back down itself and reframe the story and make certain corrections without retracting it, or they can double down. or they can double down because they have more interviews that they did for the original story that they have not published. Interviews with other people, presumably military sources or intelligence sources or both. And they can start publishing those stories. That would be a way of doubling down. They can release new information that they have acquired or will acquire about this secret Pentagon program and what was found out during those years of research, which would further bolster the idea that, yes, these are real UFOs, people, and we don't know what they are. And military pilots, professionals trained to observe, did in fact see them, and yes, we have more footage. Now, I have heard, and I can't verify this, I don't know if it's true, that Elizondo may have 20 or 30 more videos, and also documents that historically, in great detail, go over a number of UFO incidents without rejecting them. In fact, assuming that indeed, according to the Pentagon program, these sightings were real, whoever made them. So what is the New York Times going to do? Well, my sense here is that somebody very important gave a green light to the New York Times in the first place to run this story and run it the way they did. Not Elizondo. This was not only a case of him going to the New York Times and saying, hey, I used to run this secret Pentagon program. You can get that verified, and I have footage, and I have information. Somebody else, or somebody's else, perhaps at the Pentagon, perhaps at the CIA, perhaps somewhere else, in a high place. Because, as I started out by saying, the New York Times is just not the paper that's going to publish a very positive account about UFOs right out of the box. Boom. After decades of saying nothing. Not without somebody very important, not only giving a green light, but suggesting or recommending or telling the New York Times to run the story. Big time we're talking about here. Biggest paper in the world. From a certain angle, you could say, biggest story in the world. So my sense here is that from a level much higher than the Defense Intelligence Agency or from Luis Elizondo, this story was highly recommended with a very emphatic suggestion, let's say, at the very least, to the New York Times to publish this. Somebody's agenda very high up is for this story to have been published by the Times. Otherwise, it never would have made it into print. What was the agenda of that person or those people? Of course, nobody knows what that would be. But here, the story can be looked at from a number of points of view. You could say, well, the agenda was disclosure, to finally lay this out in the biggest newspaper in the world so that people would believe it, finally, people at large, the general public. Others would say, this is part of something else. This has some sort of darker motive behind it. We don't know what it is. So with that latter suggestion in mind, I think it's completely appropriate to look at To the Stars Academy, which is the Tom DeLonge group that he formed a few months ago in order to explore UFOs, especially because his prime, perhaps, collaborator in this enterprise is Luis Elizondo, the man who broke the story to the New York Times. And you could say, in a sense, that the story came to the Times, the content of it, through DeLonge's Academy, To the Stars Academy. So on their website, the Academy's website, they have a list of people who are on the team. These are not people who are just willing to break their non-disclosure agreement with the government and step forward and appear and say, this is who I am, this is what I know, and if Congress wants to put me under oath and to testify, I will be happy to do that. No. These are people on the team in the general enterprise of the Academy. For example, Jim Semivan. And I'm now quoting from the Academy website. Retired from the Central Intelligence Agency's Directorate of Operations after 25 years as an operations officer, both overseas and domestically. Hal Puthoff, physicist, has worked with the NSA, National Security Agency, Department of Defense, intelligence communities as an advisor. And then, jackpot, Luis Elizondo himself, I quote, career intelligence officer, whose experience includes working with the U.S. Army, Department of Defense, National Counterintelligence Executive, and the Director of National Intelligence. As a former special agent in charge, Luis conducted and supervised highly sensitive espionage and terrorism investigations around the world. As an intelligence case officer, he ran clandestine source operations throughout Latin America and the Middle East. Chris Mellon served 20 years in the federal government, including as Deputy Assistant Director of Defense for Intelligence, Clinton and Bush administrations. Paul Rapp, past honors include a Certificate of Commendation from the Central Intelligence Agency for significant contributions to the mission of the Office of Research and Development, also known as ORD. And I note, I have it on very good authority that the CIA's MK-Ultra mind control program, which supposedly ended in 1962, did not end, and it was transferred secretly and darkly to this office, ORD, Office of Research and Development. Norm Kahn on the team, over a 30-year career with the Central Intelligence Agency. This should give us pause for thought as to the purity of the story, the purity of the agenda, the purity of the motives, not specifically necessarily of Tom DeLonge, but of the people with whom he has surrounded himself, or that they have surrounded him. Because these people in covert ops working for the CIA and the military are trained to deceive. That's their background. That's their training. To keep secrets and to deceive. Simple as that. Simple as that. Now, I don't have the time to go through all of this, although you can see it in my article up at No More Fake News. But I then go back over the team, the Academy team, and I discover several key individuals with major medical backgrounds as well. Some of these I've just mentioned, but I didn't include the medical stuff, like Norm Kahn, development and direction of the intelligence community's counter-biological weapons program. Another team member, Gary Nolan, professor, Department of Microbiology and Immunology at Stanford, BS in genetics, PhD in genetics. Luis Elizondo himself, and I'm quoting now from the Academy website, academic background includes microbiology, immunology, and parasitology. And there's a bit more even. What are these people doing with their medical backgrounds on this team? Put together medical, CIA, military. And I opine in the article that one of the agendas behind this could in fact be a sort of a step operation, step by step by step, to say, look, there could be deadly viruses from outer space. Maybe even some of these, quote, visitors are bringing or spreading deadly viruses to which we have no natural immunity, and we must mount a very expensive, staggeringly expensive program and develop vaccines and so on and so forth against a whole range of potential viruses from deep space. And if you think this is just a wild speculation, you can find articles in the press going back a long way about declaring dangers from viruses in outer space and so on and so forth. You bet. You bet. Gizmodo.com, 6/22/15. Why scientists have been scared of space germs for almost 50 years. And in the article, among other things, they recount how Apollo mission personnel returning to Earth would go through 3 quarantines in different places. Aircraft carrier, aircraft, Johnson Space Center. When they returned, stayed there at the Space Center for 3 weeks under medical testing, watched for any signs of illness that might indicate an alien infection. And I'm quoting from the Gizmodo piece. Do not be surprised if you begin to hear at some point along the line language about all of this as an agenda. I'm not saying it's a real agenda in the sense of that they're speaking truth, that we need to be scared of viruses from outer space. But again, these people are the kind of people who spend their time day in and day out inventing enemies. That's what they do at the Pentagon. That's what they do at the CIA. That's what certain people with particular medical bents do. They're always looking for enemies and or inventing them and proposing and forwarding programs, very expensive programs, with grant monies and profits for corporations and medical research firms and pharmaceutical houses and so forth, to profit from a kind of a campaign of fear and terror, just like the many epidemics and pandemics that we've seen presented in this way to the public over the years, which have turned out to be duds, and I've documented this extensively. So I offer that to you because it's real and nobody else is talking about it or writing about it. So that's my story for tonight, and Happy New Year again, and Jimmy and I can chat for a couple of minutes here.
Yeah, well, what I find interesting about this, well, there's a lot interesting, but could Elizondo, I look at this 2 ways. Could Elizondo find himself in some legal jeopardy, number one? And 2, if that question arises, then it would appear to me that they knew this was going to happen and they let Lewis do this, run with the goods and and leave. Because if you look what there's a whole long list of whistleblowers that have escaped with the goods on a USB drive. That story doesn't end well, does it?
No, it doesn't. And it's possible that but if they let him go, you see, knowing what was going to happen, that somewhere within the Pentagon, to me, there would be an agenda of, we want this story to come out. We want it to come out in the mainstream press big time.
Right.
And then later we can walk it back. We can put this guy into trouble if we want to, and make it seem as if, this had nothing to do with us once the cat is out of the bag.
There's one point that you tried to drive this home. So let me knock it out of the park for everybody. Let's go back to this. The New York Times is not a joke. No matter who's...
I knocked that sucker out of the park.
Right? They're not a joke. And they, especially a story like this, an article like this, reporting like this, about the UFO subject that is dealing with all of these other issues. We're talking about vetting, and that story gets run by committee. It doesn't, there's the legal side of it. There is the news director. There's the editorial side. There's the vetting side. And this process took a long time. They didn't just decide in 24 hours to run with this story. That's not what the New York Times does. And that's an important point that needs to be driven home here. They're not. This was done with forethought.
Indeed, and therefore, during that period of forethought and all that you just mentioned there, they are aware of what they're about to do. This isn't like, oh, gee, how did we run that? They know what they're about to do, and they know how they're going to present it. And in these editorial meetings, for example, there would be discussions like somebody would pipe up and say, well, reading this draft of the story that we have now, where's the other side?
Right.
Where are the detractors that are saying, this is ridiculous and so forth and so on, Professor, and, all of that we would usually put in a story. And somebody else at the Times is saying, no, we're not going to do that. We are not going to do that because this stuff we've vetted it. It's real. We're not going to do a he said, which is, again, very unusual for the Times.
The whole thing, when you are, John, you've been doing, the one thing that you do not touch is UFOs. For that very reason. Nobody touches it. Nobody does in the mainstream. They just don't do it unless there is a tagline for a joke at the end of the story. Other than that, taking it serious, it just doesn't happen. And so when I can imagine the boardroom where they're all sitting around, the other reporters, the editors, the attorneys, they're all sitting around debating whether to go forward with this story. And people are rolling their eyes, and for them to push this through and to make it happen, the vetting process is there, but also there's a motivation. I'm with you. There must have been somebody from Washington that said, okay, cool, because the New York Times made that phone call. They did. They went straight to the Pentagon and said, okay, we're going to run with this story. This is what's going on. And the Pentagon said, cool.
And I would go even further. The ace in the hole here is that among all the arguments and the vetting and so forth at the New York Times, somebody is finally saying, look, guys, we got a very strong green light from so-and-so. And it wasn't just an okay, it was more like run it. So that takes precedence over everything that we're talking about here. And that's why we're going to run it, and we're going to run it in this way without any heavy detractors making it seem, ludicrous. What? Somebody big is behind this.
There's no question about that. And also, they were prepared for the blowback.
Indeed,
it's a UFO
they are
story.
Prepared.
Right, they exactly. Are. Hey, John, do me a favor. Have the most amazing New Year's ever.
Hey, you too, Jimmy. I wish that for you and for everybody out there. This is going to be a heck of a year, folks.
Yes,
buckle up.
Let's do it. Have a great New Year, and just go and enjoy it and have a good time. And we'll see you next Thursday right here on the show.
It's a deal, Jimmy. Thank you.
Thank you, Jon Rappoport. Start your day right there at nomorefakenews.com. All right, it's Fadernight. I'll be right back with our guest, Jeff Harman. Stay with me. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. I'll be right back.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Hello, Fadernauts. This is Jimmy Church, and I'm introducing New Pharma, a company whose products are based on science. Human function based on the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. New Pharma firmly believes in this science, and their research indicates that support of the ECS provides the beneficial effects for a healthy lifestyle. New Pharma's science includes relief capsules for pain relief, sleep capsules, which are natural support for occasional sleeplessness. Foundation is support for your ECS, and Fit capsules support your active lifestyle. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2B for a 33% discount on all of their products. Or visit newpharma.com for all of the knowledge on the science. That's GNUpharma.com. Go Beckley Tappy.
You're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers.
Yes.
We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
Ancient Life Oil. Life-changing. The real oil. CBD is truly ancient life oil from the source. This oil has no psychoactive effect and is also legal in all 50 states. When you're healthy, you're happy. The truth about this wonderful plant is that it wants to give back to mankind life, longevity, and happiness. Ancient Life Oil are golden grade, all organic, non-GMO, and infused with high-quality liquid coconut oil. It's simple. Just go to ancientlifeoil.com today. That's ancientlifeoil.com. The best, purest, organic, and non-GMO CBD in the world. Go Beckley Tappy. The statements made regarding these products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Please consult your healthcare professional about potential interactions or other possible complications before using any product.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back. Fade to Black, our last show of the year, show number 780. And it's a Fadernight. Special guest, astrologer Jeff Harman is here. We're going to be taking your phone calls, do some predictions for 2018. We'll do all of that. He is a second-generation astrologer and spiritual consultant with 40 years experience. He teaches how conscious self-awareness can lead us out of the matrix, out of our karmic past, which is revealed in the ancient systems of classical, Vedic, and Kabbalistic astrology. He's based right here in Los Angeles, California, and his clients are in many areas of business and the entertainment industry. He assists in scheduling important events, finding clients' best locations, and corrective measures such as gems. Harman has also worked in many areas of the entertainment industry, including technological and forensics work with various government agencies. He has worked with such diverse people as Mother Teresa of Calcutta and George Carlin. Harman is also a filmmaker and owns Conjunction LLC, a motion picture company. Tonight, Jeff is going to take a look into his crystal ball and tell us what to expect in 2018. We're going to take some phone calls and help us wrap up 2017 and move into the new year. I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black our good friend, astrologer Jeff Harman. Jeff, good evening.
Hey, thanks for having me, Jim.
Yeah, no, thank you. Now, here we go. Let's kind of start here, Jeff. 2017, I've expressed my views. It was a dark year for all of us. For conscious, it was a crazy year with consciousness and the darkness around this planet. We fought that battle all year long. We got here. Now we're at the end of the year. What do you see for 2018?
Well, I think we're going to see more craziness. The way I see it, it looks like we're going to do well financially, but I think we're going to see more trouble brewing, and particularly, and I want to be positive here, but I have to see, I have to tell you what I see, and I only go by the astrology. One of the ancient techniques is to cast charts at the spring equinox, summer solstice, fall equinox, and winter solstice. This was the ancient techniques brought up all the way from India, Egypt, and the Middle East, and I have to say it's been pretty accurate. So what we've got going is it looks like we got a nice kickoff here right now, and we're going to see things coming better in terms financially. I think this tax bill, even though a lot of people are against it, may actually bring the markets higher. I do have to agree that not everybody will see a benefit, but it does look overall like the U.S. is going to keep soaring financially. It's going to keep picking back up, and like it has been for the last 6 months or so. And what I don't like is what I see this summer. We got some real trouble on the wind, and I really have to say this Palestinian-Israeli issue and North Korea, I think, is still going to continue to boil the pot. I mean, don't you think the same thing, Jim, from what you see on your end?
After this year, I definitely don't want to deal with more of that, but nothing has been resolved. But when you say this summer, you see the same timeline for both of those. What do you see for North Korea?
Well, in the Vedic astrology, what I saw is the summer solstice, particularly. Well, I should back up. The spring equinox, right around the end of March into April, looks like we got some real trouble here. And there's also a Mars-Saturn conjunction, which that happens every couple of years. But this one is a little bit troubling because by the time we get into late April, that's where I think we're going to see more trouble. And interestingly enough, this also kind of parallels weather and earth changes. I'm sure you've heard that the Mississippi River has an enigma going on right now. It's like disappearing. The levels are extremely low right after St. Louis. And they literally have had to get smaller barges because it's been really low. And I think the New Madrid, if it doesn't go and get excited by this summer, it looks like another point is 219. It's either one of those two, and I can't call it exactly, but I'd be very concerned about that. And of course, we're always concerned about earthquakes here in California. Again, I don't see anything major here until about 219, and I hope that we slide through that one too. But
so the new Madrid fault, which goes right there along the Mississippi River through the middle of the United States, you're saying that there's a chance that could unsettle.
It could. It really could. What I'm seeing here is what I don't like is, again, the spring equinox chart has a Mars-Saturn conjunction that's happening. It's strong in the end of March, but it really crescendos about April 27th. So that's a period of time in there where I definitely could see something like that happening.
Do you see, is there, how big, if it happens, how big will it be? Is this like a loss of life?
Yeah, it would be. I mean, the last time it happened, it was in the 1800s. In fact, you can look it up, but they actually said the Mississippi River flowed backwards for 2 weeks. It was so severe.
Right.
And of course, it wasn't that populated back then. But if it happens now, it could very well lead to a loss of life.
When I lived in Memphis, I went from L.A. Back to Memphis and stayed with my parents for a little bit. And I'm sitting there, it was in the middle of the day, and we had an earthquake. And I was like, it's a long rumble, and it was there, and it was on the news. But I thought, I'm not in California. I'm in Memphis. What are we doing having an earthquake here?
It's huge, that fault there. It's absolutely mammoth. It's way bigger, they say, than many other faults in the United States.
Now, North Korea, is that going to get out of control, or is it going to be more missile launches and a confrontational thing? Or are you saying that this could escalate and there could be a war on the Korean Peninsula?
That one is a tough call. I really see that is not going to be the major conflict. I hope I'm right about that. I see, in fact, here, I'm actually casting a chart right now on that just to see, because since you're bringing it up fresh here, I kind of want to look at that and see what the chart actually says. I'm using a technique called interrogation astrology. Yeah, this really looks to me like they're just going to keep antagonizing. I think they'll start shooting down missiles. I don't see that those guys really have the ability to do anything against us. Now, they could kill a lot of people on the Korean Peninsula, but I don't think that's going to grow into a major war. And I just don't. I don't think he's got the wherewithal to do it.
Now, what about some of these other things that are going on right now, like these, all the sexual allegations in Hollywood and in Washington? Is that going to continue in 2018?
I think, yeah, I do. And I think in some respects, it's kind of good because it's called a lot of people who got away with a lot for a long time, maybe to start acting more mature and more dignified. And it's interesting because I spent a lot of time going through this. Why did this happen? And when I look back, the chart, again, for the fall equinox really showed that. There was, and of course, look at all the stuff that happened, the Las Vegas shooting. We have the largest, most expensive hurricanes in modern times, at least. The last ones we had were at the turn of last century, or right at the beginning of the 1900s. So clearly, we've had some unprecedented weather, and also we've had things that have not ever happened before. I mean, look at Harvey Weinstein, look at all the stuff in the Senate and people coming forward. And what I found, and another thing is, look at California, the largest fires in history now. Literally, there's never been a fire as big as what they've just had. And in fact, I've had clients calling me, my God, we lost our house. We had to move, Santa Barbara area, and it was horrible. And what it showed, and I want to paint a bigger picture here. Where we're going is into some unprecedented, uncharted waters. And we have something that's about to happen here, and it's a ways away, but it's 2019, which is only a year from now, because we're sitting right on the edge of 2018, into 2020. And I think we're seeing some off-the-charts extremes, and that isn't just in weather, but it's with people. Look at the polarization in this country. Have you ever seen this before in your lifetime, Jim?
No. It's completely polarized. We're all at extreme opposites. And speaking of that, what about Trump? Is he going to turn this around? Is he going to get impeached, or is he going to turn it around in the polls and start doing, some nice positive things and maybe ride this out?
Well, Trump is Trump, and Trump's always going to be Trump from what I've seen in his chart. And again, I think, one of the only astrologers who said he'd win. And the reason I said that was because of the primary directions he had, and also in his Jyotish or Vedic astrology. He just had it, hands down. Of all the cast of characters standing there, he was the only one that looked like it was going to come through.
Right. So
I think Trump is in some rough waters right now. George Carlin, as you mentioned, I always loved George. He had it right when he said the American dream. Remember that, his HBO special?
Absolutely.
You got to be asleep to believe it. But anyhow, the owners, he brought up the real controllers and above the government. And of course, we don't need to get into that conspiratorial stuff, but Trump, if he's, I'll give him credit here. He's smart enough to work with those guys, or I don't think he'd be drawing breath if he didn't. I think he would have gotten a JFK haircut, or would get a JFK haircut if he didn't play ball. I believe he's in great danger up until this summer. In fact, the summer solstice, combined with Trump's chart, Trump has a primary directed Uranus conjuncting Mars. Now, people might go, what's that mean? Well, Uranus is very revolutionary, unexpected, and sudden events conjuncting the planet of war, Mars. And that's happening for Trump exactly on the summer solstice of June 21st of 2018. It's coming at him like a freight train. Plain English, he could have assassination attempts, whether that's publicized or not. In fact, he's already had that. If you remember, during the, I think it was right before the election, it might have been, I think it was October of 2016, they caught somebody in the Trump Towers, an ex-CIA agent, and apprehended him. I don't know if you heard about that.
Right, I do remember that. I forgot all about that.
Exactly. So he, and I think every president always has the danger of assassination attempts. But the ones that matter is if the owners want to take you out. And he, I'm sure, is very well aware of his position.
Do you think somebody's reading his charts for him?
I don't know. That's a good question. I know a lot of people who actually personally know Donald Trump, and all the clients that I have who actually know and or work with him say he's actually a really nice guy.
Well, I would assume that he would be paying attention to this, at least asking questions. I think he's got an open mind when it comes to stuff like this. I really do.
I do too.
I want to change gears a little bit. Disclosure, that was a big day for us a couple of weeks ago on December 16th. Here we are sitting on December 28th, heading into the new year.
Absolutely huge.
What do you see for Disclosure and how things are going to continue in 2018?
I think from what the chart says, that, in fact, I'm actually casting a chart as you asked this, they're going to allow disclosure the way it's kind of been. In other words, if subsidiary offices or branches come forward with something, that's fine. But I don't think they're ever going to issue a statement, hey, by the way, we're really working with aliens. And we have been for a long, long time. As you know, my wife Camille used to write for UFO Magazine, and I've had the great pleasure of not only meeting you and all the people you know, but also at MUFON, and for years, for over probably 20-something years now, the event with Lieutenant Philip Corso and the whole explosion of technology that happened in the 40s. Right after that, we went from vacuum tubes to transistors to everything else. To answer your question, I don't think they're ever going to quote unquote say, yeah, we're working with aliens. But I think there's going to be branches coming out who admit it, like they're doing. That's what I can give you from what I see in the chart. So it's a yes, but a no.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I think
that's what they've been doing pretty much.
Yeah. It's just my take is, and this is why I'm so excited about it, we can't go backwards, right? What's done is done. Right. Exactly. That's it. That's what's done is done. I think that 2017 was a very rocky year for all of us. The revelations of fake news and the Prime Directive and how things have been panning out. And when I look at, I put this list together of the big news events, and it was about as traumatic of a year as we could possibly put together on all fronts, with natural disasters, like you said, Las Vegas. North Korea, Putin, Russia. It's just all of the politics coming out of the polarization of America and of course sex and Hollywood and racism. It's just been a brutal year for all of us, and I don't want us to go through it again. I really don't. I think that it can't get worse. The thought of it being a darker year than 2017, I don't think we can handle it. I really don't.
I hope you're right about that. But I love to be positive because I hate fear porn. A lot of people use fear porn to just, create newsworthy things. But I have to say, looking at this chart, we're on almost, I would say, an accelerated path of unprecedented change between now and 2021. What's interesting is
Sorry about that. I brought in a caller and they're saying something. Okay, just ignore it. Callers, behave, and we'll bring you on here in a second.
Well, the big thing on the radar screen, and this comes from an Egyptian king whose name was Dorotheus. And of course, many people who have studied astrology have heard of Ptolemy. Ptolemy's probably one of the most well-known sources for ancient astrology. But I have to give the Egyptians, the Kabbalists, and the Vedantic people the credit here, because looking back, I have to say that's the most accurate astrology. And one of the things that the Masons and the founding fathers of this country knew was there were specific cycles. In fact, this country was founded on the last Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. It's called a mutation conjunction that happened in 1702. Now, everyone knows we signed the Declaration of Independence in 1776, but that period from 1702 forward brought the world an unprecedented beginning in the Industrial Revolution. Mass manufacturing started, steam came on the horizon, electricity came on the horizon. Yes, it was perfected in the 19th and 20th centuries, but it began then. Well, what's happening is we now, 240 years later, are going to have the next, what they call a mutation conjunction. And just for clarity, that means when Jupiter and Saturn join in very specific conditions, which happens every 20 years approximately, but this is different. This is when it happens in what we call new elements like earth, air, fire, and water. So we have Jupiter and Saturn joining precisely on the winter solstice of 2021. I'm sorry, 2020, which is right before 2021. So winter solstice of 2020. But here we sit on the precipice of 2018. And what I'm trying to paint a picture here is what you just said. Are we going to have a crazier year than last year? I think we're likely to see it be extremely insane over the next couple of years as the dust settles into this new era. And when you think about it, look back at what happened, even in the the crash of 29, and you look at what all happened between the 1920s, the mid 20s, up until the 30s, when everything was rearranging. The Federal Reserve came in, World War I and World War II. World War I had ended and World War II was actually forming. There was tremendous change in those places. We're in a place of tremendous change right now. We have the world polarizing between the nationalists and the globalists. And I don't know that that's going to transition easy.
So what you're saying is that the next 2 years between 2018 and 2020, we've got to get out of that. And then from 2020 forward, we'll start to see an ease up on these tensions, and we'll start to grow up and mature.
Let's hope. Yeah, let's hope. Human consciousness is the key here. I do not believe astrology predicts the future. I believe it influences us, and we are the future. Our consciousness, our ability to grow and rise above. One of my favorite lines in all the movies out there was Katharine Hepburn in The African Queen, when she said, "Nature is what we're here to rise above." Remember when she poured all the whiskey bottles out?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Well,
that was the best line I ever heard. She goes, "Nature is what we are here to overcome."
Well, and
wow.
We always hear, we're going to head towards a break, and then when we come back, we'll start to do some phone calls. We always hear, Mars is in retrograde. We got to get through, or Mercury's is in retrograde, and we need to get through. It seems like I hear that every 2 weeks. Now, what's the bottom line with the Mercury retrograde? Does it happen every 2 weeks?
No, it happens 3 times a year for 3 weeks each time, approximately.
Okay, so basically
3 times a year.
So it happens all year long, and it's 3 weeks each. So that's 3 months. So that's 1/4 of the year. We're always in a Mercury retrograde. We never really get out of it.
Well, we do. I mean, we do, because if you divide the year, that it happens once approximately every 4 months. So it's not that often. But I actually like it because it's a time to regroup, rethink, retrace, rework. I actually use it for a time to go back and say, okay, what can I do that's can be reworked and work better? Or what can I do? It's a time when I back up computers. It's a time when I do all kinds of mechanical things. It's actually quite elegant. I think there's 2 ways to look at astrology. One is fear-based and say, oh my God, I'm at the effect of this. Or you can actually, just like martial arts, put it in your favor. So that's the key to this that's why I love ancient astrology, because it was astronomy scientifically applied, where ever since the late 1800s, it got into what I call love, light, and cluelessness. Everybody's an Aries or a Pisces or their sun signs, and I'm really against that. I'm like you, Jimmy. I came from a place that's really from a paranormal background. You know how I really got into astrology?
How's that?
When I was a little kid, I was about 7 years old. I had a guinea pig, and this guinea pig was sleeping down. I had 2 of them. It was sleeping in this little cage down in the yard. A little, had chicken wire and everything. And I'm sleeping, and I dreamed that my little guinea pig died. And all of a sudden, wham! I woke up. And I jumped out of bed. I was up 2 stories. I ran down the stairs, went out there, and my guinea pig was laying there exactly how I just dreamt it. I saw every hair on it. It was exactly how I was crying, little kid. And, of course, my mom and my dad, they helped me bury it, give it a burial and we bless it and all that. And I told my mom about that, and she smiled, because my mom is how I got into astrology. And she says, "You astral traveled." And I said, I had to do something like that because I saw it. I mean, everything, the smell, the wind, everything. She goes, "You astral traveled." And I was so intrigued by that. And then by the time I got to be about 15 years old, she started calling my girlfriends with astrology. I said, "What are you doing here?" I said, how can you know this? And she said, "Well, I'm doing their charts." And I said, "Come on, astrology can't have any effect." I said, the planets affect us down here? And then I started studying it, and I went, wow, there's something really to this. So it was my mother that really kind of always moved me in that direction, and she was really interested in the Kabbalah and secret things, and it was a fun childhood.
Well, look, we got to take a break right here, Jeff. When we come back, we'll be taking your phone calls, 323-825-5045. That's the only phone line I am going to use tonight. 323-825-5045. Now, when you call in, need your name and a brief question. That's all we need. Let's have some fun. It's our last show of the year. This is Faded Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. We have astrologer Jeff Harman right here. We'll be right back.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. And last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously. Go Beckley Tappy.
Do you worry a lot? Whether you're a college student, busy professional, parent, or grandparent, ongoing stress and elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol can rob your memory, your health, and your future. Now you can combat the effects of stress and anxiety while improving your memory and recall at the same time with the dietary supplement Calm and Clever. Studies show that the ingredients in Calm and Clever reduce cortisol by as much as 30% in 1 to 2 weeks. Call 1-800-758-8746 or calmandclever.com.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
Hi, folks. CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. You know, there's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. It's our last show of the year. Fadernight, show number 780. We have astrologer Jeff Harman with us tonight, and we're going to be taking phone calls. And Jeff, are you ready to go?
Sure, I'm ready to go.
Okay. Yeah, we got noise in your line.
I don't know why.
Yeah, with the microphone.
Really?
Yeah.
You want to go back to the other?
Yeah, just pull it. Yeah, just pull it. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so I've got calls lined up. 323-825-5045. That's the only line we're going to be using tonight, and we're going to go back to back. So we need your name and a brief question, and then we'll run off with Jeff. Okay, Jeff, how's your audio now?
I don't know. How do I sound now?
Now you sound good. Okay.
Great.
All right. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Damien from Hamilton.
Hey, Damien. What's your question? Good evening and Happy New Year. What's your question for Jeff?
Yeah, good evening and Happy New Year to you guys, too. My question would be with recent predictions that he sees for 2018, are we going to be receiving help from our space brothers above?
That's a good question. All right, hang on a second.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a hard one to get, but I'll look at it. Let's see what it says. I got to tell you, I have a theory about this that I think we're getting help all the time, and this chart kind of confirms that, because I don't think we'd be here if we didn't. If the human race was left up to the egos of many people in power, we might not be around. I've heard stories for many, many years where military people have said, hey, we saw light orbs around things. Afterwards, the missiles didn't work, the nukes didn't work. I don't know if you ever heard of Left at Eastgate. That's a wonderful book where crafts came down and afterwards the nukes didn't work and then they removed them. And I get that. This here looks like I think we're being helped a lot. And I also think that's why the world isn't going to end, everyone's predicting the end of the world all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel the same way too. And I've always said we're going to have a little bit some struggles, but at the other end, I think we're going to be all right. And we all have to think positive. And thank you so much for your response. And thank you, Jimmy.
Yeah, thank you, Damien. And have a great, safe New Year's. Let's stay on the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to Jeff Harman.
Hey, good evening, Jimmy. Good evening, Jeff. My name is Letitia, and I have a question about a recording contract, a recording project that I'm doing.
Okay,
and
well, turn me down in the background.
Okay, got it. How about that?
Okay, there you go. Okay, so it's Letitia.
Thank you. Letitia.
Okay, there you go. Jeff, she's got a recording contract.
No, it's not. It's not a contract. It's a project.
Oh, a
personal project.
A recording project. Music.
Yes.
Okay.
And and I wanted to launch it as a public service announcement. And I was wondering if Jeff, you see any assistance or obstacles?
I don't see obstacles. It looks like actually you're going to get it going here. It looks like about 2.5 months. Are you? Is it all ready to go? Is it mixed and everything?
Well, all I have to do is re-record the voice, the vocals. It's already copyrighted. Once I re-record the vocals, and I can get it going and get it uploaded to different sites and so forth. Like CD Baby or Amazon or whatever. But
according to this,
I'm
it
excited
shows
about it.
you're going to be able to get some
legs
legs with this thing within probably the next couple of months.
Yippee! Thank you.
There you go. Have a great 2018.
Best of luck to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's stay on the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, Jimmy. This is Chad from Niceville, Florida.
Hi, Chad. How are you, man? Say hi to Jeff. What's your question?
Hey, Jeff. I'm interested to find out if he's got any input on Tom DeLonge and what he sees coming up for him this year, being his birthday was this past December 13th.
Who is this? Tom DeLonge?
Tom DeLonge, Blink 182, the To the Stars Academy, the Disclosure Project.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, I didn't hear it clear. I don't get there's any problems for him. This kind of goes back to what Jimmy was saying. I don't know that they're going to fully come out and ever say, yeah, we've been doing it. It's more like it leaks out and they don't deny it. And it looks like he's going to be okay. I mean, I don't get that they're going to stop him.
There you go. Chad, it's going to be a good 2018 for Tom. I see that coming.
Awesome. I hope it will be for all of us. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, thank you, Chad. Great phone call right there. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, this is Jessica.
Hi, Jessica. What's your question for Jeff?
Can I ask a personal question?
Sure.
Okay, I just wanted to know what was going to be happening with my health in this next year.
Her health, Jeff. Jessica, her health for the next year.
What have you had? Is it something? Have you had any kidney issues or what? What's been happening?
No, I actually am having some issues that they don't know what it is. I have attacks on my joints, and they've done a bunch of tests, and they can't tell me what it is.
See, I saw Saturn on the 6th house. The 6th house is health and medical astrology, and you may find, it's good you're seeing a doctor. I would get I'm sure you're doing a lot of tests, but you may find also, too, cleanse the kidneys, because a lot of toxicity, that comes up here. Okay. Are you having a lot of joint or arthritic things?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Because Saturn's involved. Saturn rules the bones. Yeah, don't feel like the Lone Ranger. I've actually been seeing a doctor myself and doing. I'm so tight, and I found cleansing my kidneys was great. And this doctor's got me on a stretching protocol. He's a wonderful doctor. I don't know where you're located, but this doctor, Dr. Sherman here in Los Angeles, he's a sports chiropractic. And that's something you might want to look into, too, is they're using kind of a shocking issue on my muscles to loosen them up because I've been so chronic and so tight. But my kidneys really affect this stuff. Another thing to look into, too, with a naturopathic doctor is the possibility of parasites. Parasites can have a huge effect in the joints.
There you go, okay. Jessica. Take a look at your kidneys and listen to Jeff. All right?
Okay, thank you.
And have a great 2018. Absolutely. Hi. Welcome to Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Yeah, this is Phil. And my question would be, I understand that Saturn and Pluto are conjuncted going into 2018, and I was wondering, doesn't that indicate that there's going to be a breakdown in the structures?
What was your name again?
Phil.
Phil. Okay, Phil.
Yeah, it's good. It sounds like you're familiar with astrology. Yeah, Pluto is always just raw power. And I know a lot of astronomers have demoted Pluto from being a planet. And I have to say, being a Vedic astrologer, I was always a little skeptical of Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune, but I have to say it's accurate. And just to clarify for you, the Saturn-Pluto conjunction actually happens at the end of 2019. So it's a ways away. It isn't in 2018, but we're in the shadows of it. And these things don't just happen on the day they conjunct. And this is why I think we're contributing to the polarization we're seeing, not only just in America, but in the world. I mean, look at Brexit happened last year, the EU breaking off, or I should say UK and Britain breaking off from the EU. We've got dissension all over the globe. There's a lot of trouble. We've got the whole religious issues going on with Israel, Palestine, and in Iran, the ISIS issue. So there's a lot going on. And Saturn and Pluto, Saturn is restriction and Pluto is raw power. When you put those two together, the best words I can come up with is fascism. This is where people steadfastly hang on to their beliefs and they're willing to die for it almost, or many of them will die for it. This is fascism in the truest sense. It's kind of like giving Hitler steroids. And the problem is we're in the throes of this right now. And I have a theory that one of the reasons Trump probably got in is because not only did he have a strong chart to do so, but the people who really print the money, who George Carlin always referred to as the owners, kind of want this country to be built back up. And that's exactly what's happening. And this all fits Saturn Pluto. Look at China, how they're building up. Russia's building up. Everybody's building up. You know, everyone wants a bomb and everyone wants superiority and protection. And they're all hanging on to their beliefs, even if they're not right. So this is the fascism that Saturn and Pluto brings in. And it also kind of shines on what we talked about earlier, you know, the whole thing with the sex, the Me Too thing that's been happening, you know, where, geez, someone abused me too, by the way, you know. So a lot of stuff comes out on Saturn Pluto. And so we're going to find 2018 is really going to increase this kind of polarization and fascism. And it really crescendos at the latter part of 2019.
There you go. Thank you for the phone call. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Oh, this is Pedro from Tampa.
Hey, Pedro from Tampa. How are you?
Good, thank you.
What's your
My question is...
Yeah, go ahead. What's your question?
My question is, I have a used RV center business in Tampa. I was wondering if it's going to be successful in 2018.
Pedro from Tampa has an RV center in Tampa. He wants to know if it's going to be successful in 2018.
Let me just see here. It looks like you're going to be okay, yeah. Yeah, just make sure you don't get too extended. Other than that, it looks good.
There you go, Pedro. You feel good?
Thank you, sir.
Yep, it's going to be a good 2018 for Pedro. An RV center in Tampa. That actually sounds like a good business. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, this is Maria.
Maria, how are you? Oh, I lost her. Okay. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
My name's Scott Moore. I'm calling from the high desert up here. Hey, I got a question about doing a career change. I'm thinking of getting involved with podcasting.
Uh-huh. Okay. There you go, Jeff. Scott wants to get into podcasting and have a career change. What do you see for him?
It looks good. As long as you can drive listeners, it looks okay. It looks good.
There you go.
I would say, really, you're going to have to really work at driving people to it, which is natural. You would obviously see that, but that's what it says here. You're going to have to work really hard at finding a way to get people to recognize you. And again, social media may be the way to do that.
Yeah, it's fun to do. Thank you for the phone call, Scott, and have a great 2018. People ask me my advice all the time, Jeff, about this. And they may not want to hear what I have to say, which is you have to work for real. Right? It doesn't, nothing comes free in life, no matter what business you want to start. But you have to keep your foot on the gas and keep the band together.
Hey, I gotta interrupt here. I hear some really good news about you. I hear you got this amazing History Channel show that's been released over in, where is it, Australia and Canada? Everybody's been raving about it.
Yeah, well, that's really funny because Australia, Canada, Denmark, Norway, they're all enjoying the show, but we don't have release dates here for the United States yet. So yeah, the show is, I think it's great. And everybody's enjoying it. And I think that those here in the United States deserve to see it. But, at networks, as you know, Jeff, and certainly Camille knows this, networks, Hollywood, that is one of the toughest things crystal balls and networks just don't work. They will do whatever they want to do, and if anybody has the secret, then you have the secret to Hollywood. And that ain't, that's just not going to happen. So there you go. Okay. EJK Eddie wants to know, this is coming in via Rita. She just texted me this. Eddie wants to know, is Rita going to allow me to buy any more expensive guitars in 2018?
All right. That's a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one. I'm on the edge of my seat on this one.
See, your wife's the seventh house. I guess she can't stop you if you want to anyhow.
I have my eyes on.
The answer is yes.
All right, there you go. Thank you, thank you, Eddie in Pennsylvania for that. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? You're live.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, hi. Hi, Jimmy and Jeff. This is Bonnie. I'm in Orange County.
Hi, Bonnie in Orange County. How are you?
Hi. I'm doing great. Thank you. I just wanted to ask Jeff what he saw for me in 2018.
What do you see for Bonnie in 2018?
Well, I think it looks better than 2017. You had kind of a hard time there, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. See, now there's a good example, Jim. She is Mercury in this chart, and she was retrograde, and she just went direct. So the answer to your question is it's going to be a lot better than it was then. Bonnie, do I know you?
Yes, I do know you, Jeff. It's Bonnie Hart.
That's what I thought. Oh, my God. I recognize your voice right away.
Oh, she's cheating. She's calling in tonight because you're on the show.
Yeah, that's cool. I recognize her voice.
There you go.
I've known Bonnie for a long time. She's a great lady, too. So, yeah, it looks like you've had a hard time. Is everything been good with the health issues?
Yes, thank you. Everything is good there.
Good, yeah. I think, it looks like it's been rough. It does. It looks like, somewhere around, if I'm reading this right, somewhere around late spring, things are going to really start picking up for you. When I say late spring, I mean February, March.
There you go, Bonnie.
Okay.
Late winter, yeah.
All right.
Well, good luck, Bonnie, and good to hear from you again. I thought I recognized you.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it's really cool when you recognize somebody's voice out of the gate, and you say, "Do I know you?" What you don't want to do is be wrong. Right? That's the thing. You don't want to be wrong. You don't want to. No, sorry, you don't know me. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, this is Maria.
Hi, Maria. How are you? Say hi to Jeff. What's your question?
Hi, Jimmy. Hi, Jeff. I have a personal question. I've been in a hoarding situation for a while, and I wanted to find out if maybe this coming year I can finally get out of this.
So you're hoarding at your house?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's
since my mom passed, I just can't seem to clean up and move.
Yeah, that's tough. You sound like me. So there you go. Rita's like, Jimmy the hoarder.
You got a lot of stuff, don't you?
Yeah, there's a lot in here.
Yeah. What jumps into mind here when I look at this chart is a lot of it's, like you said, it's hard to release because of your mom.
Yeah.
I would really, there's some wonderful stuff you can meditate on. I really like certain psalms. They have, especially when you get into the ancient ones that have the Hebrew parallel to them. Give her a blessing, and you're not selling her if you sell some of this stuff. In other words, she's not her stuff. In fact, that's one of the things I always tell people in readings is we're really spiritual beings having a physical experience. We're not all that we amass. So Jimmy's probably going to take a guitar or two with him when he goes. But I would say that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be buried with at least one. So
that might help you to release it. Is release her. If you release her and let her go more, I think Because it looks like, if I'm reading this right, you got a lot of stuff in that house.
Yeah. So Maria,
your old house, is that why?
I see a garage sale in your future. But Maria, have a
few.
Yes, have a great 2018. Here we go. You ready?
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
And Happy New Year.
Yeah, a Happy New Year to you too. Okay, let's grab one more call before the break here. You're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
You're kidding me, man. My name is Lars from Wisconsin.
Hey, Lars, do you play Metallica?
You believe it or not, I'm actually a drummer, and I've heard that my whole life.
Yeah, I'm not planting a flag there, am I, Lars? No, I'm not. I'm not discovering anything.
Man, I'm a first-time caller, and I'm really honored to be on with you right now.
Yeah, well, welcome, Lars. And what's your question for Jeff?
Well, I work with my family business, and it's been a couple trying years, and I'm just wondering if 2018 is going to be the year that
things turn
that
around.
Everybody sees the light.
Right. What do you see for Lars, Jeff? And don't say drumsticks.
When you say sees the light, how do you mean that?
Well, sees people over numbers.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to get where you're going. See, in astrology, each house rules a different area of life. And that's why I was trying to get where exactly are you going here? What is your question specifically? Detail it a little bit more for me.
Well, I guess when I say people over numbers, I mean when the family really sees the true value of the human soul over profit.
Right.
To be very specific.
Yeah, I totally get it. When is the family-owned business going to get their head together and quit worrying about money and worrying about those that are around them, which is more important? That's right, Lars? That's exactly it.
I agree. Thank you, Jimmy.
There you go.
I would love to be the bearer of better news, but it looks like not right away. And, it looks like sometimes, there's an old saying, we come here to kind of purify and rectify the soul. And time is not always linear in terms of how that happens. Is this going on a little bit with your dad?
Well, my stepfather, my biological father passed when I was 17. I'm 40 now.
That's what it shows. I don't know that there's anything you can directly do to change that anytime soon.
Okay.
Other than maybe, just know that that's where he's at, and
it is what it is.
Yeah,
that's what it is, and sometimes that's valuable. I get this a lot in business where people say, geez, someone's suing me, or on and on. And a lot of times knowing where you're at is better than thinking it's going to change, and then your expectations are never.
That's right. Yeah, you know
Right.
it, you understand it, you're aware of it, and that makes you smarter, right?
There you go.
Absolutely.
And then you
I
look
appreciate it so
look
much.
at your
Yeah.
look at your stepdad with some squinty eyes. That's what I would do with some squinty. Go.
That's what I'm saying.
I know where you're at, pal.
I mean, he's a good guy. He's
I appreciate it.
There you go. Thank you for the phone call. And
cheers to y'all.
Yeah,
Happy New Year to you, Jimmy, and to y'all.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're doing great work.
Right back to you, Lars. Thank you so much. Lars Ulrich calling into the show tonight, man. That's pretty cool. Let's take a break right here. Our guest tonight, astrologer Jeff Harman. We're taking your phone calls. So if you're on hold, I'm lining up callers now. If you're on hold, stay right there. This is Fade to Black, our last show of the year, saying sayonara to 2017. We'll be right back.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRAradio.com.
Hello, Fadernauts. This is Jimmy Church, and I'm introducing New Pharma, a company whose products are based on science. Human function based on the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. New Pharma firmly believes in this science, and their research indicates that support of the ECS provides the beneficial effects for a healthy lifestyle. New Pharma's science includes relief capsules for pain relief, sleep capsules, which are natural support for occasional sleeplessness. Foundation is support for your ECS, and Fit capsules support your active lifestyle. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2B for a 33% discount on all of their products. Or visit newpharma.com for all of the knowledge on the science. That's GNUpharma.com. Go Beckley Tappy. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. Our last show of the year, and it's a Fadernight. How cool is that? We have astrologer Jeff Harman here, taking your phone calls, 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. Jeff, you ready? You ready to keep doing this?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's go. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Deb from Sacramento.
Hi, Deb from Sacramento. How are you?
Hi. I'm a little sad. My only pet passed away yesterday. And so my question is, do our pets have souls? And if so, do they reincarnate?
Do pets have souls and do they reincarnate? Can you do that with astrology?
Yeah, the sixth house is pets.
Good.
Yeah. And I can see it passed away. It's the way it is. Yeah, I don't think there was anything you could do. It looks like something with the blood.
Do pets reincarnate?
I absolutely believe pets have souls. I think any living thing has a soul. I really do. In fact, when you look at the future of technology, that's one of the Hollywood themes in many movies is, can we ensoul technology, robots, computers? I personally say not like a human being or an animal or a plant, not something that's divinely created. And do they reincarnate? I have to say I can't say definitively. My personal belief is they do. If you want to read some wonderful material about that, go get a book called The Work of Invisible Helpers by Amber M. Tuttle. That's one book. Another great book on that subject is The Magus of Strovolos, which is one of my favorite books to recommend to people. But yeah, it looks like this it was just old. There's nothing you could do.
There you go.
She had congestive heart failure. It's very common
that's
in
what it looked
little
like, the
dogs.
blood.
But I
It
was
looked
curious.
like the blood, yeah.
Well, Deb, it's time
Thank
for
you, though.
that's nothing like a new pet, So there you go, and have a great 2018.
Give a
Thank
blessing
you, Jimmy.
to the pet.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, you guys. Take care. Happy New Year.
Yeah, you too, Deb. Look, do pets reincarnate? I look at my dogs, right, of which we have 4. They're all reincarnated. They look into your eyes, and there's something going on there. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, Jimmy. It's Cindy. How are you?
Hi, Cindy. How are you?
I've been doing pretty good.
Are you ready to get
Calling
rid
about
of
my health?
Are you ready? Are you ready to get rid of 2017?
Oh yeah. Bring on some good stuff this year.
All right. So
please.
Cindy wants to know about her health in 2018. Jeff, what do you got?
Let me look at this here for a minute. Well, I think, again, have you had stuff? Is this another issue with bones here or chronic stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yes.
I think you're going to find it's going to be a long road, but again, you want to pursue. I would say, what's been happening? Tell me what's been happening with you.
Oh, I had a couple of slam down falls that created. I had a curve in my back, like scoliosis, but now it's an angle, which started all kinds of weird stuff happening to my bone structure, which caused me to have bone cancer in my left hip.
Oh boy!
Now,
yeah, that's what it looks like.
I'm taking care of the cancer pretty
well.
well. It's almost gone, but it's my bone structure that I've got to get right to keep the cancer away and walk right again.
So, are things going to improve for Cindy in 2018?
It does look like improvement. What I would say is, also, I'm sure you're seeing an allopathic doctor, which is a regular doctor. I would look into also some alternative methods like acupuncture to open up the meridians and reflexology, combined with maybe seeing a good nutritionalist, because it looks like you're deficient. There's something called the etheric double, which is also known by many as the astral body. It looks like it's blocked here. And I would do things like acupuncture, reflexology, qigong. In other words, things outside of the norm to try and open up those blocked meridians. Is this on the left side?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. So I would say,
wow,
definitely pursue that. Where are you located?
I'm in Atlanta now.
Yeah, she's on the East Coast.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely get to some good acupuncturists. Acupuncture is amazing. I can't say enough about it because it's thousands of years old, and it opens up meridians. And the key to health is really all disease ends and starts through the etheric double, which is known as the astral body. And that's what it looks like. You're really blocked in that area. Really try and pursue some alternative methods. And reflexology, too, both in the hands and the feet. Combine that with some good nutrition. You might be on the road
I'm
to
all
health
about natural
here.
stuff.
Blessings, and I wish you well.
Because I've done the cancer the natural way, and I haven't lost any of my hair or anything, or even really had too much suffering.
Well, Cindy,
so I can look further in that direction now. Okay.
Absolutely, Cindy, and have a great 2018.
Thank you, Jimmy. You too.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Man, she snuck in a bye-bye there. Sorry about that, Cindy. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi.
You're live. You're live.
This is Greg?
Yes.
Hi, just calling to see what Jeff can tell me.
And what was your name?
Greg.
Hey,
from
Greg.
New York.
Okay, Greg from New York. Do you have a specific question, or you just want something general?
Health, what the new year may bring, and what does he feel? What does he see?
Okay. Jeff, you want to take a stab at that?
Yeah, overall, you got something out of the blue that's going to happen in the next 9 months, if I'm reading this right.
Okay. Is that good or bad?
No, it's good. It's good. It's going to be unexpected.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that stuff. I like
that too.
Yeah, I like
travel. It might have something to do with travel.
Absolutely. Well, see, the thing is for me, the unexpected positive stuff that's never happened to you before, just out of the blue, that's the funnest of the fun. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy. This is Lane from Northern Kentucky.
What's your name again?
Lane? Like
Lane, like Lane Staley. Lane.
That's right.
There you go. Lane, what's your question for Jeff?
Hey, I recently entered a competition, which I'm anxiously waiting results for on Tuesday. Rather than asking whether I'm going to win, I'm curious if this is a path that I should pursue further, win or lose.
Should he win or lose? Should he continue what he is trying to do?
What is the path? Help me out here. What is the path? Because I want to see if it's the 10th house or the 5th house. What are you doing?
He's trying to influence me. He's trying to influence me. It ain't going to happen.
Essentially, I'm trying to get into this community that Jimmy and others are pursuing to awaken consciousness, we'll say.
So it is the
via podcasting or whatever the case might be.
Yeah, there you go. Well, this is my tip. You want my tip?
Absolutely.
Never say the word
Good call.
Yeah. Jeff, so what do you have for Lane? So
I get it is. I get it is. Definitely anything. It's interesting that you said that because Mercury rules the 10th house here. It's intercepted in the 10th. And what I'm doing, just in case anybody's interested, I'm just casting a chart. I just let the chart roll, and the querent is the eastern horizon, and whatever you ask about is the house rolling around as the Earth rotates. And the 10th house here is Mercury, and Mercury rules psychology, parapsychology, knowledge, and it's in Jupiter's sign. So it definitely says pursue anything that raises consciousness. And you may find that it's a dual sign on the 10th house, which means it actually may lead you to other directions within this same genre that you didn't expect.
Interesting.
So the answer is, win or lose, keep going.
There you go, Lane.
Because you're on the yellow brick road, and when you meet the scarecrow and the lion, you just keep on going, and you end up somewhere else where you didn't expect.
Lane, you already knew that, didn't you? So have a great 2018.
I did already know that.
All right. We'll see you on Tuesday, man. Thank you for the phone call. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, this is Jay.
This is who?
Jay from Wilmington, North Carolina.
Jay from Wilmington, North Carolina. How are you, Jay?
Hanging in there. It's been a rough year.
What do you have for Jeff?
Jeff, what do you see for me career-wise, 2018?
What do you see?
Change.
Really? Were you expecting that, Jay?
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because you're blocked where you're at right now is what it shows.
Okay.
Yes.
And so you're okay with that, Jay?
Dead end street.
Yeah.
And if you make change, it'll be better. See, the Lord of the 10th right now is career, and it's going into the sun, which means you can keep going, but it's not going to bring you pleasure. It's better if you make a change. And if you do, you're going to be happy about it.
See, Jay only needed to hear that from you, Jeff. So, Jay, go do it, man.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Have a great night. That's what he wanted. I can tell, Jeff, when somebody asks a question like that, they need to be pushed. You know what I mean? They just need that little nudge because they know deep inside.
And sometimes, what's ironic about astrology is a lot of times I find I'm doing spiritual consulting through astrology much more than I have a lot of clients who are psychologists and psychiatrists who privately say, hey, I'm doing this for everybody else, but give me a different viewpoint back on what I'm doing. And, I don't sit here and ever try and tell anybody what to do. I only tell them what the chart says, which oftentimes mirrors the exact reality that we need to hear to motivate ourselves.
Now, and for everybody out there that's listening, you can go to jeffharman.com. The links are over at jimmychurchradio.com. You can just click and it'll take you straight there. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, this is Kendra from Ventura.
Hi, Kendra from Ventura. What do you have for Jeff tonight?
My question is, where should I focus my time and my energy in 2018?
Time and energy for Kendra in 2018.
Uh-huh.
And she's from Ventura.
Well,
hey, how did you...
I'm so glad. I hope you survived the fire.
That was my question, Kendra. Did you get out of that okay?
Yeah, it was a little scary. It was basically across Main Street and up the hill, maybe a block or two. There were flames, I would say, 1 to 2 story buildings tall.
Wow.
So it got really close, and my neighbor drove me to the fairgrounds in downtown Ventura to an evac center there. It's normally a 5-minute drive, and it took us a half an hour bumper to bumper, but the entire way, the entire top of all of our beautiful, small, rolling hilltops, which are all behind the middle of Ventura, Midtown Ventura, where I live, to downtown, which is it was basically about a mile of flame. And we were bawling our eyes off, and she dropped me off there because she had to go get some family. So I was in my first time in an evac center at the fairgrounds, and the Red Cross was kicking ass. They were amazing. And then I walked home with my bug-out bag, which weighed way too much and had too much crap with me, so it was a good lesson in if you want to bug out on foot, what not to bring, like my laptop. But anyway, it's been pretty crazy. I had to boil water, and I've been I would hose down trees for 5 days, and it was pretty scary.
Yeah,
for sure.
And it, no wind in sight either. Jeff, what do you have for Kendra in 2018?
You ever pursued writing?
I'm an activist, and a part of my activism has been some writing. Yes, and yes, actually, there's a book I have in mind. An amazing spiritual experience I had while undergoing brain surgery to take a giant tumor out of my head. So there's 2 books I have in mind. One is called We Win, which is the message I got when I met God while having brain surgery, or goddess, or collective consciousness, whatever it was amazing. So We Win is the name of my short book, True Experience.
Okay.
And the other one is A Life in the Day of an Activist.
Okay.
And that's like an autobiography.
Okay, one at a time here, everybody. One at a time. But Jeff does say, go write those books. And it's
write the book.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting. And Kendra, have a great 2018, okay?
Thank you. You take care, guys. Thank you so much. Go back later. Bye.
You got it. Thank you, Kendra. And it was interesting, though, Jeff, that you bring up writing like that out of anything that you could mention. And she said, yeah, I got a couple of books, and I got to do this. So
everybody tries to deify me and say, oh, you know so much. Well, actually, I don't. Trust me, I'm just as blind as the rest of us. But what I was blessed with is learning this tool. Right when she asked that, the midheaven, which is where the sun is at noon. Of course, we know it's now, at night. It's 9:18 on the West Coast here. But the point is that the Earth is continuously rotating. And I hate to blow the flat earthers, bubble, but as it rotates, the eastern horizon, the meridian, is constantly moving. Right when she asked that question, the midheaven shifted to Gemini, which is writing.
Wow.
That's what I said. Yeah.
So you're saying that the Earth... Wait, Jeff, the Earth isn't flat? I'm just kidding. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, Jimmy. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Who's this?
This is Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Mike from Canada. Long time no see.
Did you watch Breaking Mysterious all day in the marathon?
Oh, no. I was doing Christmas stuff.
Okay, there you go. All right, Mike, what's your question for Jeff tonight?
Well, I just wanted to know what's going down with me. This is Mike Rathbone.
I know who this is. And you know what? What's funny, Jeff? Tonight it's drummer night here on Fade to Black. Hey, Mike, did you hear we had Lars Ulrich called in earlier?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. What do you have for Mike
Jimmy
up in Canada?
Good music.
What's that?
I said I love Jimmy's music. Even when I went to his house, he had the coolest music playing. He does the same thing on his show. It's just cool music.
I do love my music for sure.
You're like the king of cool when it comes to music.
Hey, you haven't seen Mike's drum set, man. He's the king of cool. So what do you have for Mike in 2018, Jeff? He's a musician. He's a drummer.
Let me see here. I say keep playing music. It looks good here. Yeah, pursue music.
Right
well,
well, I've been doing it for the rest of my whole life.
Yeah, well, it says turn on the coals on that one even more. Pour the steam on.
Hey, Mike, I wanted to ask you, did you see the new Rush documentary that was on HBO?
Isn't that awesome?
Man, so good. And
I know.
I didn't know. I thought I knew a lot about Rush. I didn't know that Neil would jump on his motorcycle in between cities and just go take back roads. I didn't know that. That was
and he was 10-speeding all over Europe when they were on tour there too. That's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't know this. I did not know. And I just thought it was going to be, another Rush documentary and what. But that was a really interesting part of that. Man, he's got when he's taking out the maps, he's got that OCD going on. He can't help himself. And I just loved it.
I think Neil Peart had an alien come down and instill a program to play drums in him.
There's no doubt about that. He's not from planet Earth. Jeff, you are spot on. Hey,
I wanted to wish you all the best on your 4 years, Jim. I've been there with you all along and I've been enjoying the ride. And another 4 for you at least.
Thank you so much, Mike, and have a great, safe 2018 and New Year's Eve. All right, and go do it.
Can I squeeze in one more thing there, Jim?
Sure.
Here.
Hi, this is Lori. I'm Mike's girlfriend.
Oh, Lori. Oh, this is a 2-for-1 call. Okay, Lori.
Yeah, is that okay?
That's okay, Lori. How are you? It's good to hear your voice.
I'm not too bad, but I'm really concerned about my health, and I'm just wondering if it's going to improve in 2018.
Okay, so Mike's girlfriend, Lori, also in Canada, wants to know about her health, Jeff. What do you see?
You know what it shows? Have you got something going on with liver or lymph?
My lungs, actually.
Lungs.
Yeah, but that's affecting the lymph system. Looks like maybe why you're getting that. Have you been to a doctor and done many tests yet?
Yeah, they are testing me all the time, but it's always on my lungs.
Interesting.
Well, the lymph system seems like it may be something connected with the lymph. We have as much lymph in our bodies as we do blood.
Right.
Well, it's good you're seeing a doctor. Yeah. You're another candidate here too. Yeah. See, I would also look at the possibility of things along the lines of naturopathic and also the acupuncture, something to open it up. You may also see a naturopathic doctor about flushes, cleanses. It looks like that's your lungs may be the issue. Are you having problems breathing?
Oh yeah, all the time.
It looks like toxicity affecting the lymph system, and it could be connected with the liver here is what I'm getting.
Okay, well, I did have a really bad wisdom tooth, and I just had it pulled out. I guess it was poisoning me for a really long time.
Oh, she just had a wisdom tooth pulled.
Ah.
Well, Lori,
I'll tell you what, that'll make you toxic right there.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Well, see a doctor, a naturopathic doctor, and see if you can't get some cleanses going on. And
okay.
There you go, Lori.
You nailed that on the head because I am a naturopath kind of person.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in that. Lori, you and Mike have a great, awesome New Year's.
You as well. Thank you so very much, Jimmy. It was great talking to you.
You got it. It's good to finally talk to you. And give my best to Mike.
Yeah, I will for sure. Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you. Okay, I've got time for one more phone call before we have to say goodnight to Jeff. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, can you hear me, Jimmy?
Oh, man, that's loud. Yeah, we can hear you just fine. Who's this?
Hey, this is Joe from Arkansas. Hey, Jeff, I was wondering about the moons, the double moons in January. What influence are they, or if at all, do they have over us?
I think the moon is a huge influence. I would say the moon is a timer in most of the ancient astrology. And I think it may have been contributing to all this emotion that we've been seeing. And one of the things we didn't get a chance to cover in kind of our synopsis of 2017 and into 18 is the eclipse that happened last August, which again relates to the moon. The moon has a huge impact. In fact, in the theory of souls being born, the moon is the last sphere spiritually that the soul is believed to pass through. And Vedic astrology uses the lunar mansion, which is not even on the radar screen in Western astrology for the most part. And the moon is huge. When we see the moon have eclipses and aspects that it makes, I do a lot of business deals with people, electional astrology, picking times to get married, times to sign things. Whenever the moon is doing something positive happens from it. When it's doing something ill or negative, it has a very powerful effect. I would say that you're talking about the supermoon, right, that we just had?
Well, January, we're supposed to have 2 full moons in January. It's like rare or something.
Yes.
Oh, I see what okay, all right, because there was a supermoon just recently too. That's always very emotional when you have 2 full moons in a month. I haven't really looked at that particular one. But full moons in general, I always try. They're beautiful to look at, but right when the sun and the moon oppose, it's always a very emotional time. And, I think when we recap what we did in this show, I think it's going to be a lot of extremes coming up over this next few years. I really do, which also has its virtue because sometimes order comes through chaos or consciousness expands through chaos. And the more crazy the world gets, the more we can all step back and kind of go, hey, this is really just an experience that we maybe shouldn't engage in so much emotionally. And in fact, if I've learned one thing from doing astrology and having the blessings of doing readings for people, it's always to remind everyone that we're really much more than astrology. And in fact, I've always been against modern astrology. Astrology influences us, but we are far above that. We were souls created in there's an ancient Hebrew term that's called the absolute dimension. There's believed to be 49 dimensions at least in that. And that is so far above astrology, atoms, molecules, quantum physics, all the three-dimensional, five-sense stuff that we think is reality. Because if you look at reality, it's all just vibrating energy. It's all it is.
What was your name again?
My name is Joe from Arkansas.
Hey, Joe. Thank you for the phone call. And listen, have a great, awesome New Year's.
Yeah, you bet. You too.
You too.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. Jeff, I want to thank you, my friend, for coming on and blowing this out, man. It's not easy, and you make it easy. And it was just great, man. Just sitting here listening to you. And it's just so much fun. And now everybody can get a hold of you over at jeffharman.com, right?
Yeah, well, that's an A-N, H-A-R-M-A-N, yeah.
And the links are right there at jimmychurchradio.com. Jeff, you and Camille, go knock it out of the park this weekend, and we'll see you in 2018. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on, Jim.
You're the best. Jeff Harman, everybody. Yeah, thank you.
I got a dinner we're going to do soon.
Yes, and I hear that you've got some chilled stuff for me over there.
I do.
Thank you, Jeff. Give my best to Camille and the family.
All right. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jeff. Happy New Year. Jeff Harman, JeffHarman.com. The links are over at jimmychurchradio.com. All right, this is our last show of the year. We've got one more segment, and I'm just going to open up the phone lines and let everybody just call in and say hello. All right, so let's do it. It's Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back. Phone lines are open.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your girl Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter. But listening to Jimmy Church will.
So you went to dinner last night, you had your favorite pasta. Ugh. Or maybe you had a heavy, spicy meal and it left you. Ugh. Get the tea.com. Maybe you mowed down a huge steak and your plumbing is all plugged. Ugh. Get the tea.com. Our super strength tea will take care of your occasional. Ugh. It's all organic and non-GMO. Get rid of ugh. We have so many great supplements, but our super tea is number one. GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hey, can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, You know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at naturesyouth.com. naturesyouth.com. The holidays are coming. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at naturesyouth.com. That's naturesyouth.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back, Fade to Black, our last show of the year. Man, we got here. We made it. And it falls on a Fadernight. So there you go. I'm opening up all the phone lines now. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, Jimmy. It's Bev.
Hey, Bev. How are you?
I'm doing really good.
And did you are you done?
Yep.
And
I can actually see without looking through a haze.
That's what I'm talking. Congratulations. And you know, Bev, it's just going to be the most wonderful year for you in 2018, and you know how happy we are for you and Bob, and there you go.
Well, I'm just so happy and glad that you all helped us. And now all I have to do now is go back to my regular eye doctor and get my eyes checked and get my glasses.
There you go. And you know, and the great part about it is that you can read Twitter. Right, and surfing the internet and your cell phone and the TV and life and your world around you. You can see everything perfectly now, and just we are so happy for you. I'm so glad that you called in.
Oh, I'm just wow.
Yeah.
I just can't get over the difference, and it's nice not having my reading glasses on plus a big old magnifying glass. Trying to see everything.
I know, right? I know. I know. And 2018 is just going to be wonderful. And so just go have a great weekend. Enjoy it. And, I just can't wait to talk to you next year. It's just going to get better and better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is.
Thank you, Bev.
And like I say, I just can't thank everybody enough.
No, you don't have to thank us. Okay, so just stop that. Just enjoy. Okay? Have a great weekend, and we'll see you tomorrow night on Coast, and then right back here on Tuesday.
All righty.
Thank you, Bev. We love you.
I want to wish you and Rita, your family, and all the Fadernight family a very happy and prosperous New Year.
Yeah, you too, Bev. Give our best to Bob.
I sure will. He's got a migraine tonight, so he couldn't be with us.
There you go. Thank you, Bev. And now go celebrate. Enjoy your new year.
Well, you too, Jimmy, and thank you again.
Thank you, Bev. Wow, that's a great phone call right there. Bev got the other eye and the other operation, and it's all good in her world. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, what's up, Jimmy?
Oh, what's up? It's Thursday night. It's Fadernight. It's our last show of the year. It's 2018 is 3 days away. There's lots of good things. Who's calling?
Dude,
Hey, this is Dustin. I'm calling from Elkhart, Indiana. Pleasure talking to you, bro.
Elkhart, Indiana, flat track racing capital of the world.
Yeah. You know, the city without a heart. Depends upon your perspective, though.
Yeah, there you go. Love Elkhart, man. So what's on your mind tonight?
Well, it's been an interesting month, Jimmy, and I got a whale of a tale for you if you want to hear it.
Sure.
All right. So, are you familiar with the cryptid known as the Fresno alien or the Nightcrawler?
Well, the Nightcrawler, sure. Yeah, the Fresno, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, this is a bit of a long story. So, do you want the long version or the short? The long version isn't too bad.
Okay. Well, just go.
Yeah, sure. All right. So, for years now, I've been interested in these beings, and I ended up finding this little stick in my yard. I ended up messing with it a little bit, planting it in the ground. I made it into kind of like a totem or like an effigy to these beings because, you know, they've been seen in cities. I mean, the first video was in a parking lot in Fresno. So
Right. I remember that.
Yeah. And so it was a few months passed after I stuck this in my yard, and I kept envisioning, you know, using that intention. I kept envisioning meeting one of these beings while I was walking around the city. And so I get back from my buddy's house one night, come inside, change clothes to help my brother work on his car, getting the gas tank in, really sucked. But anyway, so we're standing outside smoking a cigarette, and it's dead silent out. I heard leaves crunching over in these trees about half a block from my house. I look over there, and I'm like, what the hell? You know, this black figure, white feet, taking really slow steps, and then walked behind a tree. Didn't see it. I was like, the hell? You know, the spidey sense starts tingling.
Right.
So I go back to talking to my brother, and then I hear the leaves crunching again, and this figure, I'm about 6'4", it's probably about a foot shorter than me. It was, like I said, solid black, white feet, had a little bit of blue on the head, and like this kind of like waving pattern on the bottom of the legs. Just took real slow steps in a direct line towards me, and then just stopped.
Wow.
Stared at me. Dude, I looked over to my brother, I was like, dude, there's somebody standing over there in those trees. He started wincing a little bit. He was like, you know, I don't see anything, dude. You're seeing shit. I was like, dude, you know me. You know, I've had UFO sightings for the last couple of years, some really crazy ones, but I'll get into those at, you know, some other point. So at this point, I started having a bit of an anxiety attack. And my first instinct was to run over to the gate and shut it. But I kept getting this like intuitive pulse, like kind of like a punch to the back of the head, to grab this staff that I made. I carved recently, I whittled it down, and then go over there and talk to this person. I ignored that. I went over and shut the gate, and at this point, this entity began walking away. Like, all right, you know, you don't want to come and play, screw it. And what walked away, Jimmy, was definitely, it fit the bill of a Nightcrawler. Long-ass legs, they bent both ways. And, you know, like as soon as I saw this entity, I about crapped my pants, man. I'm not going to lie.
Well, you said a couple of interesting things here. White feet, black body, and the head had a blue glow around it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it was weird. Like, like every Nightcrawler that I've ever seen it was white. All three videos have been white, even when there was two of them in the same spot.
That's right.
This one had different colors to it.
And now you said that you put a little attraction, you know, something in your yard. Do you think that had something to do with it?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, you know, the story gets a little more interesting. I actually ended up reaching out to this entity after getting confirmation of his intentions. through a tarot reading.
You said his. You said his.
His, yeah.
So,
I ended up reaching out telepathically to this being. I recently started to come into who and what I am, and I've been developing my empathic and telepathic abilities, working with my brother who's been on the path longer than I have.
Right.
And I reached out to this being and I started to talk to him. And I started setting up meetings with him. A few days after that, I ended up having a crash sighting. It was crazy. Set up a little deal where. Go ahead. Sorry.
Were they connected?
Yes, it was. After I reached out to the being, we ended up communicating back and forth and setting up this little rendezvous the day after I reached out to him.
Wow. Now,
it was pretty intense.
What was the conversation that you were having? Did you get a name?
It was mostly, he was, this entity, the entity that I called him Slim. I don't know his actual name, but we ended up agreeing that we would that I could call him that, and he'd respond to it. But he was here to help me destroy my old illusions that I was living under. And a lot of that was self-worth, essentially, it's a big problem that we have in our lives. Now that extraterrestrials are wanting to make contact with us,
right?
Do we really feel that we're worthy of the amazing lives that we could actually have?
Right.
Post-disclosure, post everything.
Yeah, I'm with you on that right there. I'm 100% with you on that. Well, how do you feel?
I'm excited. I've had, he's done flown bys in that craft multiple times, and I'm just really excited for what everybody on this planet can have, All you got to do is, recognize it as possible. Magic exists in this world, bro. We just got to let it in.
Did your neighbors see the Nightcrawler? Oh, did your brother actually see it?
And it's the weird thing, Jimmy. He didn't see. He didn't hear the footsteps either. It was the weirdest shit.
No bad language. Beep beep.
Oh, I apologize.
Okay, so hey, that comes from living in Elkhart. So but he didn't hear the footsteps either. So
no.
So was this done just for you? And before you answer, does your brother think you're crazy?
No.
Okay.
To answer your first question, one of the first questions that this entity asked me when he was standing there staring at me was, "What is the difference between shared and singular reality?" Now, we've heard about Bill Tompkins talking about how draconian vessels can cloak themselves from the view of the public through various means. Who's to say that benevolent entities can't do the same thing?
Yeah. There's no question about that. That's a pretty deep question to be throwing out at you. Did you answer?
I did. There's been a number of tests with my contact with this entity. I had to follow my intuition with all of this and actually trust myself. Because apparently, just like a lot of folks on this planet, I've been being prepped through my dreams for contact with this entity.
Mm.
He showed up as a humanoid in one, And then there was, apparently I've been having telepathic contact with this dude for a while, and I just couldn't, unscramble my brain enough to actually figure out what was real and what was my thoughts, Yeah,
you have to go through that part. What about the craft sightings? Did anybody else in town, were there any reports of these sightings as well?
Not that I've heard. And that's kind of one of the reasons I wanted to come on the show, if there's any listeners in this area.
Right.
My full name, Dustin Clark.
Right.
You can look me up on Facebook. Anybody in the Elkhart area or around this area that's seen, the one craft that I saw, was like the craft of this entity. It was kind of like, I call it like a flying tuning fork. It was kind of Y-shaped, and it had lights on the bottom that were connected with these beams. And it literally just looked like a constellation, like a moving constellation. If you wouldn't have been paying attention, if I wouldn't have been paying attention to the sky at that time, I would have just thought it was stars,
right.
you know. And he had like the bottom of the craft was like partially maxed, so it looked like you could see that it had a hull, but you could see right through it, and then the top was just completely transparent.
Wow.
Yeah.
And see, you know, Elkhart's a small town. And it's a small town. Everybody knows everybody there. You know what I'm saying here. And if these things are going on, I would imagine that either everybody's talking about it because it's a small town, or nobody's talking about it. They don't want to be the crazy person in town, so they're keeping it to themselves.
I think that's a lot of the problem, because a great deal of us have paranormal experiences, UFO encounters, and we just don't talk about it because, you know, we don't want to be labeled as a black sheep.
Right.
Oh,
no, Elkhart's beautiful too, as well. You know, nice woods, forest, you know, surrounding the entire town. You got the lake, and it's just a great community. And you got some of the best car racing in the entire country.
Oh yeah, I mean the people here, you know, we all have hard candy shells, but we all have gooey insides as well. You know, you just gotta look past the stress.
Right. What about Bigfoot? You guys ever have Bigfoot there in Elkhart?
No,
I know, right?
My father had a Bigfoot sighting years ago. He was an over-the-road trucker, but not around here, not that I'm aware of.
Right. I mean, you got the perfect spot for Bigfoot. I mean, there's a lot of woods out there.
Oh yeah. I mean, and from what I've heard, you know, Sasquatch is just as intelligent as a lot of these benevolent ETs that are coming to the planet right now. So
yeah. So what do
you just gotta be able to be open to them?
Well, so what do you think about you know, what happened back on December 16th with Tom DeLonge and this disclosure that happened with the New York Times and the rest of the mainstream media? What do you think that means for us in 2018?
I think it's going to be a really exciting year because, I mean, the ball's already rolling on so much stuff. And I ended up just seeing an advertisement for the Hover Brothers. Have you heard of them?
No.
They're like a little startup, and they're working on anti-gravitic propulsion systems and whatnot, similar to everything that Corey Good has talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're going to see so much more, you know? I mean, we already have the rotorcraft that Corey talked about coming out. You know, the timeline seems to be matching up pretty well. I mean, if more and more people are going to have physical contact, like myself and I imagine many others that haven't talked about it yet at all.
Yeah, I agree with you. Cool. I agree with you, Dustin. And listen, have a great, amazing New Year's weekend. We'll see you tomorrow night on Coast, and then right back here on Fade to Black on Tuesday.
It's been a pleasure, Jimmy.
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you, Dustin. All right. Do I have time for one more phone call? Should I? Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hi, my name is Tom. I'm from Key West.
Hey, Tom from Key West. How are you guys doing down there?
Well, we're recovering from that little party they had back at the end of September.
Yeah, that was, you call it party, I call it gnarly. But, you know, our thoughts are with you guys out there. So what's on your mind tonight?
All right. What's on my mind tonight is that disclosure that happened December 16th.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever wondered if maybe that's part of that Iron Mountain thing where they said that the timing of it came right on the heels of ISIS being destroyed.
Right.
Remember that the Iron Mountain said that, you know, they'll give us an even greater threat to get us to dump more money into the military-industrial complex?
Yeah, that's always the case. You know, see, there is no doubt that no matter how you slice it, the military-industrial complex, not only the Pentagon, but all of the defense contractors and suppliers, that money machine, they need to have an enemy, always. And ISIS and terrorism was a perfect thing for them because you couldn't see it, couldn't touch it. It's terrorism, and just, flood that money into there. Now that this ISIS thing in Syria and Iraq is winding down, of course, now they're going to say it's Afghanistan, and now we've got to go back into Libya. That'll be next. Watch Egypt. But having that wind down and then turn around and have the alien agenda apparently put on the front burner is way beyond coincidence. Way beyond. Now, this is the question, though. Are we talking about weaponizing space? Are we talking about uniting the globe, where we are now one front? Are we talking about, prepping for something? Or, what some are saying there's going to be this fake alien invasion false flag thing. I don't buy into the false flag scenario. I don't buy into the fake alien invasion. I'm not buying into Blue Beam, and I'm open-minded about everything. But weaponizing space and dumping money into that we don't even know what's being built up there. We don't know how it's being flown up there. We don't know anything. There's no accountability. You can't see it. Right? You can't. If you're building a bunch of tanks, you can see those tanks. You want to build ships and submarines, you can see those things. You can see infantry being trained, and you can see the numbers and stuff. But once it moves into outer space, we don't know anything, man. We don't.
Why does it necessarily have to be outer space? Think about it.
I know.
We're tickling the quantum demon right now. What about this happening in another dimension?
I know. I talk about it all the time. I 100%. And dumping money into that and those kinds of special programs and black projects. What a perfect thing for people to go and get funding from our budget into a program that you can't touch or see, and have it be something like that. Absolutely, it feels a little bit funky to me.
It does, and when you start looking at the fact that they could use this invisible war as a reason to take away your rights as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I don't want to go that far into the fear porn part of it, but if it starts to go that way, it's easy for us to sit back and go, "See, I told you so." I don't go that far into things like that because I'm a positive thinking person. But if there was ever an avenue for things to go that way, it's the alien question. And the quantum and parallel worlds and time, now we've got to fight time travelers. Well, how do you even know, right? So let's hope it doesn't go there in 2018. These are exciting times. Have a great day, have a great weekend, and enjoy your New Year's.
You do the same. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely. Yeah, always this terrorism battle. We have been doing this since 9/11. We have now, we can go down, if you think about this, Afghanistan, Syria, Iraq, Libya, Yemen, Somalia, all of these, the list is long, and you can even throw in the Philippines if you want to go that far. The list is really long. We've been fighting this war forever with no end in sight. It's the perfect thing to fund. It's the perfect thing. How many bullets and guided bombs and Tomahawk missiles can you build? And that's what's been going on. Now, what goes on into 2018? I'm not one to subscribe to the fake alien invasion project, Blue Beam, thing. I don't see it going in that direction. I just don't. I don't feel that. But it is suspicious that the timing of all of this is when the Pentagon is getting audited. There's questions about everything winding down in the Middle East, and we need to continue to spend money, and there are people out there that need their corporations and their factories to keep making that stuff. So think about that. All right. That wraps our last show of 2017. Wow, episode number 780 is in the can. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Kamarian. Show is produced by Hilton J. Palm and Renee and Dennis and Bob. And thank you to Steve Harder and Gene Vito and Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster Drew the Geek. Music Doug Aldridge. Intro Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. Syndication is KGRA, The Planet. Thank you to Jon Rappoport and his No More Fake Newsroom tonight. Thank you to Jeff Harman for coming in. An amazing show tonight. Thank you to everyone that called and tweeted. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2017 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'll see everybody tomorrow night on Coast. My guest is Richard Dolan. Then we'll see you guys on Tuesday. Have a great, safe New Year's. Everybody be safe. Go Beckley Tepe.